What if I told you that a company once valued at more than $30 billion never actually built the groundbreaking technology it promised? This is the story of Nikola Motors and its charismatic founder Trevor Milton, a man who convinced Wall Street, automakers, and the public that he had created the future of clean transportation. With slick presentations, flashy prototypes, and bold promises, Milton positioned Nikola as the Tesla of trucks. But behind the glossy image lay a shocking truth. Many of Nikola's so-called innovations were exaggerated, staged, or outright fake. When the lies unraveled, the company's reputation collapsed, and Milton himself was charged with fraud. Trevor Milton grew up in Utah, far from Silicon Valley. But even as a young man, he believed he was destined for something big. He wasn't a trained engineer, nor did he come from deep-pocketed connections in the auto industry. What he had was something harder to define: a natural gift for persuasion. Trevor could sell an idea with such conviction that people wanted to believe him, even when the details were vague. By his early 30s, he had already launched several ventures. Some gained traction, others fizzled out, but each sharpened his ability to pitch himself as a man of the future. He became fluent in the language of disruption, innovation, and grand vision. Words that investors, especially in the tech and energy world, were eager to hear. In 2015, he founded Nikola Motors, and with it came his boldest promise yet: to revolutionize trucking. These wouldn't be ordinary semi-trucks. They would be powered by hydrogen fuel cells and electricity, offering zero emissions at a time when climate concerns were mounting worldwide. To an industry bogged down by diesel fumes and rising costs, it sounded like salvation. Trevor cast himself as the Elon Musk of freight, a visionary leader who could do for trucking what Tesla had done for cars. His enthusiasm was infectious, his confidence magnetic. Investors, eager to be part of the next great clean energy revolution, bought into his vision. The dream was taking shape, and for a time, it looked unstoppable. Nikola Motors didn't take long to capture the spotlight. The company unveiled futuristic truck prototypes at dazzling events that looked more like tech product launches than automotive showcases. The trucks appeared sleek, powerful, and ready to transform highways into corridors of clean energy. Trevor Milton promised vehicles that could travel hundreds of miles on hydrogen fuel cells, boasting ranges and performance figures that left traditional diesel engines in the dust. It wasn't just about trucks, it was about an entire ecosystem. Nikola spoke of building hydrogen fueling stations across the country, reshaping the infrastructure of freight from the ground up. To a world hungry for solutions to climate change, the pitch was irresistible. Investors rushed in. In 2020, Nikola went public through a SPAC deal, and the excitement sent its valuation soaring past $30 billion. For a brief, surreal moment, Nikola, without delivering a single production truck, was worth more on paper than Ford, one of the most storied automakers in history. Trevor Milton himself became a billionaire overnight. Headlines hailed him as a pioneer, a trailblazer of clean energy. To many, it felt like the future had arrived. But beneath the glow of this meteoric rise, questions lingered. Could Nikola really deliver on its promises? Were the prototypes as advanced as advertised? Few wanted to ask those questions too loudly, because the dream was simply too profitable to doubt. The cracks began to appear in September 2020. That was when Hindenburg Research, a short-selling firm, published a blistering report that accused Nikola of deception. The claims were shocking. Among the most damning revelations was a promotional video that had once thrilled investors. It showed a Nikola semi-truck driving smoothly down a desert highway, proof, seemingly, that the future was already here. But according to Hindenburg's investigation, the video was staged. The truck wasn't powered by hydrogen or electricity at all. It had been towed to the top of a hill and simply rolled downhill, gravity doing the work while cameras captured the illusion. The report didn't stop there. It alleged that Nikola's much-publicized breakthroughs in hydrogen production and battery technology were either exaggerated or completely fabricated. Partnerships with major corporations, touted as game-changing alliances, were revealed to be far less concrete than Trevor claimed. For years, Trevor Milton had sold investors on a vision of innovation. But the Hindenburg report suggested he had been selling something else entirely: smoke and mirrors. Within days, confidence evaporated. Share prices tumbled. Regulators began circling, and the empire Trevor had built, not on trucks, but on promises, was beginning to collapse. The Hindenburg research report landed like a bombshell in September 2020, and the shockwaves were immediate. Nikola's stock, once flying high with a market value above $30 billion, began to nosedive. Investors who believed they had discovered the next Tesla now realized they might be staring at one of the biggest corporate scandals of the decade. General Motors, just weeks earlier celebrating a blockbuster partnership with Nikola to co-develop hydrogen-powered pickup trucks, suddenly backpedaled. Their deal, once worth billions, was scaled down dramatically. Major companies that had signed letters of intent for Nikola trucks quietly distanced themselves. The empire Trevor Milton had built on hype was crumbling under the weight of hard questions. Behind the glossy press releases and slick promotional videos, the reality was grim. Nikola's prototypes were unfinished, its technology unproven, and its promises stretched far beyond what was possible. Engineers testified later that the company didn't even have working hydrogen infrastructure to back its claims. Investors who had poured billions into Milton's vision felt betrayed, realizing they had been sold more illusion than innovation. The fallout wasn't just financial, it was cultural. Nikola became a punchline in business media, a symbol of the dangers of hype-driven investing. The company that once promised to change the future of trucking was now fighting for its survival. By 2021, federal prosecutors had turned their attention to Trevor Milton himself. The charismatic salesman who once commanded headlines was now accused of securities fraud and wire fraud. The charges were devastating. According to prosecutors, Milton had lied repeatedly to investors about nearly every aspect of Nikola's progress. He exaggerated the capabilities of his trucks, overstated the company's technological breakthroughs, and misled the public about billion-dollar partnerships. One of the most damning pieces of evidence was the infamous promotional video of a Nikola truck apparently driving down a highway, later revealed to be simply rolling downhill, staged for the cameras. At trial, prosecutors laid out a clear pattern of deception. Investors testified they had believed Milton's words, some sinking their life savings into Nikola stock. Engineers described how Milton brushed aside technical limitations and demanded the company promote trucks that weren't anywhere near functional. Milton's defense argued he wasn't a fraudster, just an overly enthusiastic founder who let his passion get ahead of reality. But the jury wasn't convinced. In October 2022, Trevor Milton was found guilty on 3 counts of fraud. For the man once hailed as a billionaire disruptor, the verdict was a devastating fall from grace. The courtroom moment crystallized the difference between vision and dishonesty. Milton wasn't punished for dreaming big. He was punished for knowingly selling lies. Even after Trevor Milton's conviction, Nikola Motors did not disappear. The company still operates today, focusing on developing electric and hydrogen-powered trucks. But its reputation has been permanently scarred. Every new announcement is met with skepticism. Every claim is scrutinized under the shadow of Milton's downfall. For investors, the Nikola saga became a cautionary tale. It showed how the hype cycle of modern markets, fueled by social media, flashy presentations, and charismatic founders, can blind people to reality. At its peak, Nikola was valued higher than Ford, a company that had been building trucks for more than a century. And yet, much of that value rested on words, not technology. For Silicon Valley and Wall Street alike, the rise and fall of Trevor Milton raised uncomfortable questions. How do you separate vision from fraud? Where is the line between optimism and deception? And why are investors so often willing to ignore warning signs when the promise of the next big thing comes along? Nikola Motors may continue to develop real technology, but its name will forever be associated with scandal. Trevor Milton, once a billionaire visionary, is now remembered as a convicted conman. The story of Nikola serves as a reminder that ambition can inspire, but unchecked, it can also destroy. And in a world where hype often outpaces truth, Trevor Milton's fall is a lesson that will echo for years to come. The story of Nikola and Trevor Milton is more than just corporate fraud. It's a reminder of how easily people can be seduced by bold promises of innovation. In the race to create the future, sometimes the biggest breakthroughs turn out to be illusions. If you found this breakdown of Nikola Motors and the man behind it eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the scandals that shaped our world. Because in business, as in life, appearances can be deceiving.